This wasn't just a sentencing. This was a man explaining how one decision destroyed his life, and a judge making sure the defendant finally understood the damage.
Next case is case 250473. This is People versus Ashley Bennett.
Your Honor, Ms. Bennett indicated that she wasn't feeling well, so I'm going to have her stand at the podium while I stand back at counsel table.
Okay,
That's all right.
absolutely. Ms. Matusko, you're here.
I am, Your Honor. I have a victim present for the sentencing.
Who is the victim?
Alan Coleman.
Mr. Coleman? You know what? He works at NovaCare.
No.
Overcare was some of the physical therapy I attended along with.
Oh, you had an insurance claim. Give me a minute to read this, okay?
Mhm.
Make sure that I'm well versed before we get to there. And you can sit down. You don't have to stand there. You can sit wherever you like. And you can sit down too. You don't have to stand there. And know how well you do that. I have to harass her. She used to be with me for a long time. And then she became who she is, and I don't get to see her. Well, actually, I do get to see her at the fan meetings. Stand right there. State what your name is.
Alan Coleman.
Mr. Coleman, you're here for purposes of sentencing of the defendant. And I assume that you would like to talk to me about how she has cost you. Or, I'm guessing it's probably money, but let me give you a chance to just speak and tell me what's going on.
I am here. You obviously have my victim impact statement, but I am here to reiterate certain facts on that are still happening to this day. I still attend physical therapy for my shoulder, even after the surgery, which they cut open my arm and cut the bicep tendon off the shoulder, drilled a hole into a screw into my arm bone and reattached it. Took out bursa sock, did some labrum repairs. I have problems with my neck, and it's been a couple of years and I'm still doing physical therapy. I'm having to fight the insurance company because they're refusing to pay for it now. So it's an ongoing process. I mean, it almost cost me my marriage, my sanity. Having all these painkillers and all these medications. I lost my job because of it. Once they found out I had to have surgery, they cut me off and they fired me, terminated me, whatever terminology they wanted to use. But according to the state of Michigan, if you're not able to perform your job, they don't have to hold your job for you for a prolonged period of time. And because they're a small company, they don't have to abide by the FMLA laws. So I was in a good trade, the heating air conditioning trade. I had passed my EPA license, and I was trying to get another job, but nobody will hire me because I don't have 2 years under my belt in HVAC. So I had to pursue employment via another route. I did a bunch of while I was bedridden, well, not bedridden, but while I was recovering from surgery, I perused the defendant's criminal record. And that day that this happened, she was supposed to be in court for driving without a license previously. So when I was told that she was going to get a plea bargain, I was already upset because how the police handled the matter. Because as soon as I found out I had serious injuries, I let the Lansing Township Police Department know, and it just didn't seem like they had any interest. They kicked it up to the prosecutor. The prosecutor kicked it back down to the police department. Before I had surgery, I ran around, got all my doctor's records, and I gave it to the police department. Say, here, I did the legwork for you. You guys need to seriously consider what's going on here. And I was let down by them. I was told they couldn't find the other victim of the accident, so here I am. I tried to make contact with that victim to try to get them to come forward, but alas, it didn't prevail, and here we are. So I've been thinking about this, and it's been constantly on my mind. I feel it every day. Every day I feel pain and what this has cost me. It's not necessarily about the money. I mean, I'm having to pay for the physical therapy out of pocket because the insurance company won't cover it anymore. So my concern is what's going to happen to this defendant, because obviously the behavior is not going to change. And by not having a higher charge, she's going to get a lesser punishment. But I wanted to make sure that she got something, because from what I understand, if they would have gone to court, there's a chance that the jury could have found her not guilty. But, it's definitely changed the trajectory of my life. And All I can ask is that she be punished accordingly.
I think you could also ask for an opportunity to address her directly because she probably has no notion of what it is that she's done to your life.
Can I?
Yeah, she's right there.
So, Ms. Bennett, what you did to me is unexcusable. I don't know if you know what shoulder surgery is like, but it is definitely not enjoyable. I suffered for months. Not only wait, and if you don't know how the work comp system works, they ain't exactly, you know, hip hip hurrah, let's go get surgery. So I had to wait and wait and wait. And because of that wait, I lost my job. You know, I pride myself on holding employment. I pride myself on doing many trades. And I had a chance to make a huge amount of money from this trade. Not only working for somebody else, but I had just gotten my EPA license. I could have taken this trade and I could have eventually started my own thing. And now I have had to go out and do something else because I can't even utilize that what is the word? That sorry, I'm a lost for word here.
You talking about your work experience or?
Yeah, but that opportunity that I had is gone. And I don't know if I'll be able to get that back. You know, I've done a lot of hard work on my side, but it's just time and patience. But you know, I had months of recuperation. I'm still doing physical therapy. And you know, driving without a license, you were driving somebody else's car. The car didn't even have insurance. I mean, all these three things to me, and then causing harm to me, should have been charged way harder, way harder. And I'm not getting that justice. I'm here to make sure whatever you get today, they not only throw the book at you, but the whole bookshelf. And I hope you learn from this because it's not cool what happened at all. You know, I was just minding my own business, doing my daily work thing, and now here we are.
You know what a substance use disorder is?
No.
That's a substance use disorder.
Okay.
She has an addiction to narcotics.
I understand that. That could be, but it's still a choice.
I think that's a choice at first, but she's at the point where she no longer feels like she has a choice, although she's been to treatment a few times. Unless you actually have the resolve to make sure that you don't have to go back, this could actually be a lifelong problem for her. And that this is sort of like just one stage in her process of what happened to you. And I think it's important for her to understand that what she's going through is not in isolation, that there are real people who are suffering because of her suffering. And the fact that she probably does not enjoy getting high anymore doesn't really matter if she's not prepared to address that and to make that part of the ethos of her going forward with the rest of her life. And I don't know that she actually has somebody to speak to her in the manner that you just spoke to her. And I think it's important for her to have had that opportunity for her to be able to come to an understanding that there are real world consequences to what it is that she's doing to herself, because it's not just herself she's doing it to. She's harming other people too. And you're one of the people that she's harmed. There are probably dozens of people in her family that she's harmed as well. Because there are people that she was born to that love her and care about her and think that she's a great person and that she's lost her way. But that's what drugs do to people.
Because it wasn't only hitting me, but the lady she had a child in her car. She didn't stop to see how they were doing. Instead, she hit me and then left.
Guaranteed that the brains have been fried by the use of drugs.
Okay.
Guaranteed. And drugs are very, very serious. You know, a lot of people think about the euphoria that you get from using drugs, that you're high and you're just having a good time. It's a big party. That's not where she's at anymore. She is addicted to using. She's actually been to treatment before, and it's not worked because she hasn't learned how to make it work for her. And usually for people, it can actually take, I heard one guy say 17 times. And I don't believe that's true for everyone. But depending on the makeup of the person that you're dealing with, it'd be a long, long, hard process. And a lot of people end up dead before they can kick it. It's really kind of scary when you think about it. That these people are actually out on the highways and the byways. They're in offices, they're in homes, they're all over the place. Our country has a problem with addiction. And sitting here as a judge has made me understand that chapter and verse. So I think it's really vitally important for you to be able to have an opportunity to look her dead in the eye and tell her what it is that you've told her, because that's you weren't prompted to do that. I didn't ask you to be here today. You found your way here because you knew that she was being sentenced and you wanted her to hear from you. And if you look at her, you can see that it actually made a difference to her. But is it that enough of a difference that she would actually change the course of her life? Maybe, maybe not.
Time will tell.
Only time will tell. Only time will tell. But as a judge, I have the capacity to monitor situations and to ensure that the best possible outcomes happen, as long as I can watch and make sure that they're happening. So placing her on a period of probation is that vehicle that gives me an opportunity to supervise her and to make sure that she's doing precisely what it is that she's supposed to do. Because in her world, what she's done only affects her. There are no other victims, despite the fact that there might be 10 other victims out there just like you. I mean, not all suffering from shoulder injuries, but suffering from various different injuries from it. Because that's what addicts do. They destroy things around them. They destroy people around them because their addiction is destroying them. They're no longer the person that they were when they first started partying with the drug. They're using the drug out of compulsion now because they have to, because they're going to be sick if they don't. So while she is obviously the culprit in this whole affair, in a way, she's also the victim because nobody probably ever told her that, addiction is not what you think it is. It's not a big party. It's not a good time. Maybe a good time for the first couple of times that you use the drug. But once you become addicted, it's a monster that you have to feed. And you have to feed it, otherwise it's going to make you violently ill. And that's why I suspect that she's at that point that if she doesn't use, she's going to be violently ill. And not actually understanding that she had a real choice before this happened to her. So it is an incredibly difficult situation that our society finds itself in. Because she's just one little person. We've got thousands of people like her running around the community. Thousands. And you never know when you're going to run across one of them. Because they're everywhere. Some of them wear shirts and ties like I wear. Some of them work in construction. Some of them work on the road. Some of them are unemployed because they can't keep a job because of their addiction. So I really appreciate you being here to give voice to what would otherwise just be a shadow of a person. But by you being able to be here and to look her in the eye and say, do you know what you actually have done to me? Not just you, but by extension, those people that care about you. Because you can't be all that you're supposed to be for the other people in your life because of what's happened to you. But nobody would actually tell her that. She would just think that what happens to her is just the end of the world in terms of what's going on. And it's not. It affects all of us. Everybody sitting in this courtroom, it affects. Because we're all here because of what happened with her. But she would never see that. She would never understand that if you weren't here for me to be able to have the opportunity to point that out. So your role here is vital. It's crucial. It's very important. And I think on some level, it actually gives you a feeling that, you didn't just take this lying down. You actually came to court and you looked her in the eye and you told her how you felt about what happened. Vitally important. So thank you for being here.
Thank you.
If you have anything else you want to say?
Well, I'm just curious with the nature of going through her criminal records, like as if she doesn't comply with everything you know.
Lock her up. But at the end of the day, none of that matters unless she understands. She understands that she's the captain of her ship. Even though she feels like she has no control over where that ship is taking her, she is the captain of her ship. And if she is ready to get her life together, there are people well schooled at helping her to do that. But until and unless she does that, unless she decides that, She's going to just be sitting there as a puddle with things happening to her instead of for her.
Can I ask you what that saying was you told the other gentleman earlier? So
I don't know.
One step.
Full of sayings.
one step, every journey begins with one
Oh,
step.
yeah. Every journey begins with a single step.
Okay, I like
And
that.
that could be applied to her.
100%.
Every journey, and her journey is to sobriety, begins with a single step, with her saying to herself that she's done. I'm sick and tired of being sick and tired of being sick and tired of being sick and tired. I have to take control of my life. She has to do that. There are people like me that are around that can help her once she makes that decision. But it's a decision that is as hard as hell because what she's doing is she's using narcotics, highly addictive narcotics that don't do anything other than take people prisoner or it kills them too. But she can't see that part, even though she probably knows people that have died from using. But think about that for just a second. I mean, I know that's not part of your world, but just consider that for a moment. That she is using a substance that will kill her, that she knows of other people that have died because of that substance.
Yeah, I'm close to that subject, Your Honor. My brother was on meth, and he ended up hanging himself because CPS took away his kids.
So you know exactly what I'm talking about.
100%. May I address her one more time? Every journey begins with a step, like the judge said. If whatever he's gonna give to you is gonna suck, but it could have been way worse. If you would have killed one of us in that crash, think of where you would be with that, not only on your conscience, but legally where you would be.
In
So
prison for the rest of her life.
I mean, I have not a lot of empathy, but yeah, it's time to make another choice, and only you can make that choice. So you dwell on what happened to me. I don't know, whatever you gotta find your spirit animal, whatever you believe in, but you can't go around keep doing this to people. That's all I got to say here.
Thank you so very much for being here today. I appreciate that.
Appreciate it. Thank you so much.
You can ask Jeff this.
Did you want to add anything?
And I'm not sure what more I can add.
No, I think that he did a fantastic job. And if I could, I would bottle that and sell it to other people. Because it's not so much what you said, it's the sincerity of what it is that you've expressed. Because pretty much guarantee she had no idea. If she would have woke up that morning and said, you know, I could actually run into a situation where I could come across a guy like Mr. Coleman and probably alter his life, I don't think she would have done that. But the addiction is stronger than she is at this point because she can find the strength in herself to say that I'm done. Sick and tired of being sick and tired. Mr. Capelli.
Thank you, Your Honor. Ms. Bank did accept responsibility for what brought her before the court. I think it's clear by her reaction today that she does feel remorse for what happens. She has agreed to pay restitution to Mr. Coleman, quite a substantial amount.
$12,246.24.
That's correct, Your Honor. I do know that Ms. Bennett has been working on herself. In fact, she did the plea from Odyssey House in Flint. She has successfully completed that program, is continuing to drop clean through an issue, I believe, with foster care and CPS that she's working on. I would just ask that this court give Ms. Bennett an opportunity to prove to it that she can abide by the terms of probation and sentence her to a term and condition of probation.
Prepared to do that. I can also give you a jail chaser to go with it, though. You know what I'm talking about? Of course not. What do you think is important to that?
Right now, I'm trying to focus on getting my kids that get stable housing for them.
What about the harm that you've caused in the community?
I'm trying to work on myself because I feel bad for what I've done. I didn't know I did that.
How could you be in a position to cause such harm without knowing it?
I didn't know I even caused any harm like that until like a year later. And then like within this last year, I had a huge mental breakdown to the point I couldn't take it anymore. And then I had to get myself some help for myself
How many times have you been to treatment?
a couple times.
What does that mean?
Like 2 times. Well, 2 in Lansing, residential like at Rise too. Only
Why
was
didn't
at
it work?
Rise. Huh?
Why didn't it work?
Because I wasn't ready for it.
So you weren't sick and tired of being sick and tired?
No.
Are you sick and tired now?
Yeah.
How do I know that there's a distinction?
I couldn't take it no more with because this breakdown was like totally different. I was just doing it to please the courts back then. I wasn't doing it for myself.
So now you're doing it for yourself.
Yes, I was doing it for myself. I'm the one that reached out and asked for help. I'm the one that made the phone calls. I wasn't court ordered to do none of this stuff.
So we should give you a chance to see whether you're going to be successful in this.
Yes.
And you understand what happens if you're not successful.
Yeah.
What happens?
I will go to jail.
For a very long period of time. Is there anything that you would like to say to Mr. Coleman?
And I'm sorry for all the pain that I caused you because I didn't realize I hurt anybody. I was just freaked out.
How does it feel to be able to look at him and tell him that you're sorry?
It's hard. I'm not used to doing stuff like that.
I'm going to give you a chance to be on probation. But you should understand something. I'm very easy about putting people on probation. I'm even easier about sending people to jail. So if there's a problem, you understand what's going to happen, right?
Yeah.
What's going to happen?
If I violate, I'll go to jail.
Probably should say when you violate. If sounds like you might not do it. Are you convinced that you can actually do this?
Yes.
Why haven't you been successful on probation before then?
I've been successful on probation a long time ago. I haven't been in trouble in years.
You shouldn't be in trouble at all. You're a grown woman. But let's be clear about that. We're operating in two different stratospheres. In this stratosphere that I'm operating in, nobody goes to jail because their behavior is what it's supposed to be. Do you understand what I'm saying to you? What am I saying to you?
I don't know. I've really been a headache. I don't feel good.
I don't want to hear any excuses. When you start hearing excuses, you got to go to jail. You're having a perfectly logical conversation with me. Continue to have a logical conversation. Otherwise, that guy next to you takes you through that door and we won't see you anymore. You know what's behind that door? Do you know what's behind that door?
Yeah.
What's behind the door?
Jail cell.
So it's not enough for you to understand how to comport your behavior to the expectations of society. You actually have to do that. It's like knowing the difference between right and wrong. It doesn't help you to know the difference if you don't actually act on that difference. And you have to be able to prove that to me. You might actually detect that I'm a little bit skeptical, right? I have a question for you. You've probably never been asked this question before, but why should I let you go home today?
Because I'm trying to work on myself.
It's not a reason for me to not let you go home. That's a reason for me to give you a taste of jail, for you to feel what it's like, so that you can be resolved in changing yourself. I'm not quite sure that you understand what I'm talking about. Let me ask you a different question. How did you end up here today? Why are you here? Why do you have a case?
Because I got into a car accident.
No, because your life became unmanageable because you were using substances. You have allowed yourself to be separated from the child that you were when you were birthed, to who it was that you became after you became old enough to start using substances. That you did that with impunity, that you didn't think that there were going to be consequences because you were just having a good time. And then before you know it, that a good time evaporates and you're still using substances because you feel compelled to use them. You know what an addict is?
That's something I'm working on.
I think that's probably the first honest answer I got from you today. That you use out of compulsion. Because not to use makes you feel bad. You ever thought of having a sponsor? You know what a sponsor is?
I had one years ago.
So what happened to the sponsor?
I wasn't working on myself that much back then.
So you take the situation seriously?
I
How do you like your life now?
don't know that much.
You should probably hate your life the way it is because you know what it's like to not be in the situation that you're in. You should be ready to fight to get back to having a normal life. And if you're not willing to do that fight for yourself, then you're just going to do jail time here, and your life is going to continue to get worse. Even though you may not believe that that's possible, that your life can be worse, can be. You have a choice, and that is to either continue on the track that you're on, knowing that it's going to get worse because it does not get better. You can just look at your own life. I don't even have to point you to anything in your life. You know your life better than I do. That it's not gotten better over the years. And it's going to continue to worsen. Or you can draw a line in the sand and say you're done. Because if you do that, you can possibly regain the life that you had before. But only you can do that. Let me repeat that because I don't know if you understand the significance of that. Only you can do that. I know a whole lot about addicts and treating addicts and getting them to be successful. When you have time, you should look up this court system. Look for me and look for a program that I do called Sobriety Court. I've had over 800 graduates of that program that have successfully got their lives back together.
I've tried to sign up for CPS and they denied me, so
Focus on what I'm telling you.
I've tried it twice for CPS, so I'm telling you, they won't let me
Focus
sign
on
up
what I'm
because of
telling
my
you.
insurance. I've tried.
Focus on what I'm telling you. That's your addiction talking.
No, I've tried for CPS twice.
I'm not
Because of my
asking
Medicare,
you. I'm not
let me
asking.
get into
Stop
sobriety
whining.
court.
Stop whining and learn. Can't learn if you're not listening. You're happy with the way that your life is going. It's going to continue to get worse. But you have the ability to change your life. And there are people that are skilled at helping people. People like me who have a lot of experience in helping people get their lives. But it's hard for you to even hear that because you're so caught up in your own thinking. You need to actually sit down and give some thought to what it is that we've talked about today. This is an opportunity for you to change the direction of your life. But it requires for you to make that decision. I know what to do. I know how to do it. But I can't do that for you. You have to do it for yourself. And there will be lots of people to help you once you make that determination. But you have to make the determination. All right, let me go here with sentencing. I'm pretty sure probation to give you a chance to see if you can see this. 12 months probation, you owe Mr. Coleman $12,246. Then you're going to make arrangements to pay him the money that you owe him. Even if you have to pay him out of money that you get from the government for your own food and housing and stuff like that. You make sure that you give him a regular check to pay towards what it is that you owe him. Because that amount that you owe him is not going anywhere. Understood? You're to meet with probation on a monthly basis or as directed. You're not to possess, carry, use, or purchase firearm, ammunition, or other dangerous weapon. You're not to violate any criminal law of any unit of government. Not neither state without the prior consent of the court. You're to make a truthful and accurate report to the probation officer at each contact. You're to notify probation within 24 hours of any change of address or employment and within 24 hours of any contact with the police. You're to provide proof of healthcare coverage or meet with the healthcare navigator as directed by probation. Not to use, possess, consume, or be in the presence of alcoholic beverages or controlled substances, nor be present at any place where alcohol is sold for consumption on the premises. You're not to use any products that contain alcohol, poppy seeds, or any other illicit substance. You're not to abuse prescription and non-prescription drugs and provide verification of all prescriptions to your probation officer within 48 hours. You're to attend and complete counseling as recommended in the substance abuse assessment. You're to drop for probation, law enforcement, testing agents, case manager, physician, or counselor on an order that you serve 20 hours of community service by the end of probation. 11 o'clock p.m. curfew. You're to keep our medical appointments, follow medical advice, take our medications as prescribed, and sign a release. You're to submit to fingerprinting by law enforcement as directed by probation, and you're to submit to a search of your person, your home, or your car. Upon the request of either probation or law enforcement officers who have cause, to ensure compliance with all probationary terms. Now, despite the fact that of all these things, you may be able to appeal. If you decide to appeal, you need to do so within 20 days, 21 days. And if you require the services of an attorney to help you with your appeal and you can afford to hire your own attorney, then you need to let me know within 14 days. Do you have any questions or concerns?
Nothing further, Your Honor. Thank you.
Nothing for you, Mr. Capelli? What about for you?
Nothing, thank you.
All right, then that's gonna be all for the record. It looks like my battery is on low light at this point, so let me go get this thing charged out. All right, we're gonna send you down to the folks in probation. This gentleman is going to escort you down.